منیم سفر مو خلیلوه هزوم ما 52 ساله خو بس ذی سال خو زندگی نبزلکی کویم خبر دست نیست تا 40 سال خرقم دو زندگی تکنم خای و دزگا خرقم و چیز مشکلات یکم ماشن ترانسپورت قطع مشکله دوم خط سیوم کانالیزاسیا موسر چیز ماشن لبخه خط پرابلیما اکید گفت شوت آلتا سود ماش خرقتا نویشم اوروب نسوی.
Khorog is very kind of ecology, very friendly. I mean, fresh air, very good nature, very small town. You can see the mountains, you can see everything here. I think the Khorog town is very nice town, and working on the developing it will be more better.
Khorog is one of the highest settlements in Central Asia, located at 2,000 meters above sea level and in the Pinar mountains. Due to the mountainous nature of Khorog, the city is shaped by its topography and geography, which leads to a lot of challenges for urbanization. The Khorog Urban Resilience Project, implemented by the Agahan Agency for Habitat, is a collaboration between the government of Switzerland, SECO, the government of Tajikistan, and the communities of Khorog.
There's a huge collaboration between ACA, UN Habitat and community. I mean, actually we started the process of town planning. We are planning meet with each community of Khorog, trying to understand their thoughts. I mean, what they want for their mahallas, for their houses, how they want their houses to be built, how they want their town to be in 10, 15 years.
In terms of legislation, we will be dealing with climate change issues and its convergence with urban planning. So we will analyze the building codes and the urban planning guidelines, propose amendments, and so that the government agencies could include them into their legislation.
We have a team that we call ourselves Urban Lab under the Planning, Finance and Economic section of UN Habitat. In the Urban Lab, our aim is to provide technical and strategic support to national and local governments and various stakeholders to develop sustainable living areas at the regional, city and the neighborhood levels. We follow an approach consists of three main pillars: understanding the city, planning the city and transforming the city. Under the first step, understanding the city, we try to identify challenges and the gaps of the living areas on mobility, housing, infrastructure, social services, climate vulnerability, and migration. Under the second pillar, planning the city, based on the evidence-based analysis, we help communities and the governments to identify their visions for their cities and then help them to develop strategic recommendations. And the third step is transforming the city. This is where we try to develop implementable actions from the strategic recommendations by doing urban design projects. These recommendations and actions, we link them to a capital investment plan to prioritize and to give a pathway to the communities and the governments for the implementation.
We concluded the first phase with identification of critical 6 issues and strategic responses. The issue 1 is urban expansion in hazard zone. Driven by the lack of alternatives, people settle in the areas prone to multiple types of hazards: avalanches, debris, rock falls, erosion. As a response, we propose urban growth boundary that can limit the urban expansion and prevent people settling in the areas that are dangerous for their lives. The issue 2 is the limited land where people potentially can settle within the built-up area, because at the first glance it seems that the built-up area is already dense and developed. But with our team we mapped the areas potentially suitable for future development. As they are not developed, we call them underutilized land. These areas that are identified in the safe areas of the city city can accommodate twice more population that is needed for potential relocation. We see in the response to create mixed-use economic nodes that can create points of attractions in the different parts of the city, and to create a transport loop that can also connect these nodes and create a vibrant and kind of lively street network for pedestrians, for cyclists, where people can enjoy. Another challenge for Khorog is insufficient utility infrastructure. As a response, we propose to repair all the pipes that are non-functioning and extend water and sewage networks in these places that are defined by the evidence-based spatial analysis. The part which is particular in over-consuming water is proposed for the project to pilot the water meters to understand how much water people consume and how this initiative can contribute to the city budget. Another important issue is an equitable distribution of social facilities such as schools, kindergartens, sports and healthcare. According to our spatial analysis, we identified those areas where social facilities should be placed. And in the facilities that are safe but close to the areas that are prone to hazards, we propose to use them as safe haven. But that implies that connectivity and access to those facilities should be improved. By overlaying and triangulation different data sets and information, we identified that some areas of the city can be the most impactful because they have the larger concentration of planning actions and activities that should be taken. By planning those areas, we can answer the question how the transformation can be made.
This is where we develop implementable actions from the strategic recommendations by doing urban design projects.
Faced with limited financial resources and capacities, cities usually struggle to direct their budget towards the most impactful projects. This often increases inefficiencies and widens the gap between planning and implementation. In Khorog, we have developed an innovative methodology that brings the spatial dimension to the capital investment planning. This provides the city with a systematic approach to link spatial planning with financial resources. And therefore prioritize and fit the most transformative projects to the city's budget.
So working with UN Habitat, ACA has been able to find solutions that work in the long term for the city, that can use the resources for the long-term benefit of the city, and how to bring in scalable solutions, but also to look at Khorog as a model resilient city. So finding solutions here that can be piloted, implemented, and then scaled up as a model for other cities in the country or the region. So I think one of the great things about Khorog is the potential of the city. Khorog has many different streams of economic income generation through tourism, through IT parks and technology parks, and through the human potential of the city. And the collaboration with UN Habitat has helped to look at which solutions can be put in place and how they can be scaled up in the long term.
ازم جوج لاک فوق وقت مخرج دزگ خوشرو بدت فوق وقت لاک دزگ زندگی و مفید دی ایچن دتی مان بد دیو پکالین روز فجلاتم لاک خوب خوشرو زندگی دیوم بدت ارو چیز تلوینک هفبودش مز دیور خوی کنم لاک فوق چیز دیو زندگی دیود لاک از چی داد مشکلات ما تاجنه تا فوق وقت هر چیز دیو ارزو تو میت سویت جو جومه ما کشیده